We talk a lot on this show about building wealth, building identity, building the kind of life that means something. And most of those conversations are about the internal work, the mindset, the psychology, the framework. Today, we get to talk to someone who is actually doing it in real time right now, building multiple creative businesses, making music, shooting weddings. I know y'all like weddings, music. How does that coexist? Raising a family and doing all of this at a place of faith and intention. My guest today is my brother from another mother, a Seattle based photographer, music artist, creative entrepreneur. My guy wears a lot of hats, who has photographed over 70 weddings. Yes, I said 70, which is a lot. Been recognized as a 2025 Best of the Bash photographer and featured in Canvas Rebel, all while building multiple income streams and staying grounded as a father and a man of faith. This conversation right here is for every brother who has a creative gift and a business mind and is trying to figure out how to build both at the same time. Without further ado, I'm going to introduce my brother, Alex Boykins. Welcome to Sinai, brother.
Woo! Glad to be here. It's been too long, right?
Way too long.
It's been too long. This is a long time coming, so I am glad to be featured on the pod, man. Thank you.
Man, I appreciate you taking the time out of your day to join us. I know you're a busy man, doing a lot, man. You're juggling a lot of hats right now. I'm just curious, how do you do it?
Man, I say first with God, right? Like,
Yeah.
I'm a faith man, so I can't do nothing without him, but everything is possible with him. So it
Mhm.
makes it a little bit easier when I know I got something bigger than myself and when I'm working for something bigger than myself. So, you know, so I wouldn't call it juggling, you know what I'm saying? I'm able to switch lanes, you know what I mean? So it's a blessing to be able to switch lanes. And a lot of the stuff that I've been building for a while. A lot of it I would have did for free. And
Okay.
I did for free for a long time. So you know what I mean? Now it's just like, all right, it's monetizable. I'm getting paid for it. And we're kind of in a point in our time in our lives where it's like, okay, people actually desire a lot of the skills that I built up over the years. They want to
Mhm.
pay for it. Like, you know what I mean? Just photography. Even with the music side, you were saying how music and like the weddings coexist. Like every wedding, there's a reception. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? And at the reception, there's always music. There's somebody got to take pictures, somebody got to DJ, you know what I'm saying? There's specific music that's being played at the wedding. So I like to cater to that because I'm always in that environment.
No, I love it too. Man, you inspire me daily. I see what you've been doing. I'm like doing the music, doing that, having a family. I'm like, bruh, that's very inspirational. That's why I keep doing what I'm doing. I'm like, yo, me and Alex, he's an inspiration to me. I'm like, we eventually, of course, we're gonna collab. But some people see that, oh, like, oh, he's a competition. He's doing this, he's doing that. I'm like, nah, bro, that's inspiring. I'm glad he's doing that. I want to do anything I can to help him achieve his goals and his dreams.
I appreciate
So,
that.
no problem, brother. So that takes me back. Let's start from the beginning.
All right.
Before the accolades, before the music, the real version.
I gotta keep it PG.
Yeah. Please do. Man. What was life like before photography and music became the thing? What were you doing? And when did the creative side of you start demanding to take everything seriously?
I would say like I would say like I was probably bouncing around jobs, trying to
Hmm.
find footing, trying to find what works for me. And I took some time, in my 20s, like, hey, I'm gonna figure it out. Like I want to be well rounded. I want to like learn certain systems and I want to learn retail. I did truck driving. I worked at Facebook, Meta. I did a lot of things in order to get me prepared mentally. Like it wasn't necessarily always about a check. It was more so about learning how these businesses work. That way I can apply it to my business in the future. Because I felt like I was always going to do something creative or do
Hmm.
something on my own just about how I worked. So I'm like, all right, what can I take from each of these situations that I am and apply it to my own?
No, I love that too, because I think that's the biggest thing when you go to work for certain companies. A lot of people look at the paycheck. But sometimes you got to flip that and look like they're paying me to learn the skills of how to operate and their systems of operation here, is which I've always learned. I always like to, like when I was working with Amazon, I always like to hone in on, okay, how do they order? How's their operation working? I want to be just like that. So, man, I respect you that you did take that time. Like, hey, I work with trucking, I work with Meta, I did miscellaneous jobs just to learn the process of how I want it to go. Like you say, you always knew internally that you were creative, that you always going to create and do something, but you have to work your way up to that where you can monetize it now, where you get it paid for it.
Mhm. Exactly, exactly, and just trying to carry it on, like, okay, I learned this from this job, I'll take this from this job, I take this from this job, I take this from this mentor, I take this from this person, like, okay, and just, like, keep stacking and stacking it and stacking and
Hmm.
stacking it. You know, people, I feel like, look over the getting 1% better every day, but it actually compounds over time, especially if you starting early.
That's facts. I tell people that every day. And you once you said that 1% better every day, just thought about one of my favorite books, Atomic Habits,
Mhm.
which is basically it, getting that 1% better every day. So my follow-up question is, was there a specific moment, like a shoot, a song, or a conversation where you thought this is actually what I'm supposed to be doing?
Yeah, I had a couple. I say like as far as photography, I know me and you, we used to go out and shoot out
Hmm.
in California, and we would practice and we'd be talking about it and explaining it. I know I had a couple shoots out here in Washington where I kind of like something clicked and I was like, this looks good, like this looks professional. And like it was it was like I can see it in the picture, but you can kind of feel the presence in the picture. And then when I
Hmm.
actually did, I probably say I did like my fourth or fifth wedding, and I was like, okay, I'm really good at this. And like people not only liked my photography style, but they liked my energy. They liked the person who I was. They like how I communicated. And then it's like, you know, they like how I party pretty much. Like I'm just, you know? Like, "Oh, okay, he cool." Like, "All right, bet." And I was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, I can be myself." Like, I can be myself and I can still, you know what I'm saying, make money. And
Hmm.
I'm like, "All right, well, let me just lean into it." So I just started to
Yeah.
lean into it, and then I start seeing the success stack up, and people were giving me great reviews and like giving me like extra tips and extra
Hmm.
this and like, hey, like we love it. So I'm just like, all right, bet. Like I can still be professional and I can still take my art and take my business seriously, but I can
Hmm.
also give people like my vibe, like you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because it's at the end of the day, your business is your ministry. Your business is the way you treat people, and people love the way I treated them because it's like I'm
Mm.
always trying to be respectful, and I'm always trying to like raise people's vibrations, raise people's mindset and stuff like that, and motivate. And I'm like one of the things that I do when I come into like a wedding or a photo shoot or like a business collaboration is like I try to take myself out of it. It's like it's not about me, it's about the bigger picture. You know what I mean? I want to make sure everybody is happy. I want to make sure everybody benefits from the situation. You know what I mean? So it's like
Yeah.
a lot of people go into certain situations like, hey, how do I win? But it's like
Mhm.
I'm like, how do we all win? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
At the end of the day. So I think that helps build the relationship and then not only build it, but it helps keep it going long term. Cause I can
Mhm.
always like call people back, go back to people like, yo, hey, we won together. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like I got an idea that we can win again. You know what I mean? So
Mhm.
I'm just like, as long as you kind of keep that in your mind, then I think, your relationship building long term, it becomes more fruitful.
Yeah, and that's the real thing. You're building your network within the process. You
Yeah.
like you said, you're that's taking yourself out of it. And like, how do we all win in this process? And it's not just about me. It's about the groom, the bride that I'm shooting, the family. Who knows? Somebody else there may be like, hey man, I want you to shoot my wedding. I'm getting married next year, or whatever it may be.
Yeah.
You're building those relationships because they're seeing your character. Like you said, it's not just about you. You're bringing that vibe. You're raising people's vibrations, bringing them up because it is a wedding day, but I still, at the end of the day, they may be closed off to themselves, whatever it may be. You bring
Yeah.
that up, bring that out, show them that funny side. They, okay, he's not an uptight photographer. He's not like when I'm working, I'm working. But when
Right.
it's done, like you said, the
Yeah.
reception is a different thing. I'm gonna show who GHP is.
Yeah, it's locked in. Like, all right, look, all right, we good. All right, bet everybody ate and drink. All right, we good. Let's go.
Yeah,
We get to turn up now. It's
that
just
that
like
part.
even knowing, like what I'm saying, knowing when to lock in, knowing what being present is the most
Mhm.
important, right? If you present during the day, if you're present in general, like you get to see how people moving, you get to see your surroundings, you get to see like pretty much how the day is gonna play out. Because like after you do 70, like I'll say for me, it was like after I did like 30, 40, it becomes like repetitive. Like you get to see, like you kind of can kind of direct how the day is going by just the energy. Who's
Yeah,
stressed out. You get to see who's stressed out. You get to see who's like, all right, just present. Who need a drink? Who need this? Who need that? Like what I'm saying, where there's pockets in the day where I'm saying I can kind of slow down and like talk to people and get to know people, take some pictures, like build that relationship. So I just think being present definitely helped me along my journey.
and that's the what I've been learning this myself this year, just being present and with everything. I think you being present, like you said, it gives you that more awareness of what's going on. You ain't trying to run around with a chicken with the head cut off. You like, hell, I'm being
Mhm.
present and seeing what it needs. Like you said, every day, every wedding, they have different pockets of the day where somebody may be stressed out because, oh, the wedding cake's not there, or the dress maybe something. And you like, hey man, if this is my moment to try to raise their vibration or bring some type of joy into their life.
Yeah, because
So
if you think about it, like I tell people this, like I've been to more weddings than most people. You feel what I'm saying? Like, like I've been
Oh
to more
man.
weddings. Like, you know what I mean? Look, I've been to a
Yeah.
lot of, people don't think about that. A lot of people been like 3, 4, 5 weddings.
That's me. I'm like, I only been to
You
3.
know what I mean? You feel me? So I'm just like,
Yeah.
I've been to more weddings than a lot of people, than the majority of the people. So it's just like, look, this is what's going to happen. And this is probably not going to happen. Like,
Mhm.
somebody might be late. It's not the end of the world. Like, you feel what I'm saying? And you've got to see me, like, in action and working. We obviously went to Rob the Walker's wedding
Shout out
a
to them.
few months ago. Shout out to the Walkers, man. We love them. And you kind of got
Yeah.
to see me in action. Even then, it's
Mhm.
like, all right, these are my people. And I want to make sure they have a great day. So it's just like, it's not me like, oh yeah, I'm the photographer. I'm trying to like, direct the whole day. I want it to be
Yeah.
like this, and that. I'm like, no, let's go with the flow. Like, what I'm saying? Let's have a great day because the memories and the pictures match. You feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying?
Mhm.
If you had a good time, then the pictures are going to show that.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
you were
I get you.
cranky, then the pictures are going to show that. Like people are going to be more stiff, and the pictures
Mhm.
aren't going to come out as natural. So I like to like make
Yeah.
sure everybody is really having a great time first. That
Yeah,
way,
that's
the
real.
pictures, everybody already smiling, like everybody already chill. Like my jokes are hitting a little harder. You know what I mean? Because like everybody kind of already chilling. All right, we good. Like, he gotta say we're in good hands. So I just try to make sure everybody know they're in good hands so we can really just chill and have a great day.
Yeah. I like that, man. I like that. You like
Uh-huh.
Allstate.
For real. For real. Look, we gonna be all right. We're gonna be all right.
Yeah, we're gonna be
Yeah.
straight. So
Yeah.
photography and music are two very different creative languages. Most people pick one and go deep on it and
Mhm.
they master it. You went deep on both of them. How do those two things coexist inside of you? Do they compete or do they feed each other?
So I'll say this, right? Like I used to want to have a balance, like, oh man, my music conflicts with my photography, but
Mhm.
then I started like thinking about it less. Like I say, you can kind of overthink things. So I would so I record at home. Like, what I'm saying, most of my music and most of the things that I do is all home based. So I got my own
Mhm.
studio at home. I do the things that I do all at home.
As you should. I respect it.
So like how it works is like I would go to a wedding and I would shoot a wedding and I would come back and I would be so energized
Okay.
from the wedding that I go and immediately make a track.
Smart. That's smart.
You feel what I'm saying? Because it's
Yeah.
like there's so much energy that you take from a wedding. Everybody's happy. everybody is like joyful, everybody is feeling something. Like, you've been to a couple weddings where it's just like, oh yeah, hey, everybody's best dressed. Everybody probably had a couple drinks, photo booth popping. Hey, you got your pictures popping. Like, everybody looks good, everybody feels good. And it's just like, man, like you get home and the next day, like, damn, you think about it, like, damn, that was so good. So I'm just like, all right, like I believe in like, so like in Think and Grow Rich, Napoleon Hill, there's a
Yeah.
chapter where it's called transmuting your energy.
Hmm.
So like that's what I do. I'm like, all right, I got all of this energy from taking all these pictures. I'm interacting with hundreds of people. How can I like how can I like solidify this energy for myself? And it's just like I'm pretty much energy farming because I'm like I go home and I make a love song. I go home, I make some beats. I go home and make the music. So the pictures definitely feed it, and like
Yeah.
that's how you can see like I've already had the camera all day. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? So I'm just like, all right, bet. I set the camera up on the tripod after I've recorded the song and I make the video immediately. Cause
Okay.
I'm like,
Yes.
look, I want to keep this energy going for as long as possible. And like, I'm just like, I don't want the energy to feel, so I'll drop it. Like, you know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? Just so I'm not thinking about it because the longer you think about it, the longer it sits, the energy kind of fades away. So
Yeah.
I'm like, I want to execute on the energy immediately. So I'm there. I'll say I do like an 8 hour, 10 hour wedding.
Hmm.
And it goes well. Like, you know what I mean? I get good feedback from everybody at the party. I get good feedback from the bride and groom. I get good feedback from the bridal party. And I'm like, you kind of on a high. You know what I mean? So I'm
Yeah.
just like, it's a natural high. Like endorphins are running. Your body is just like, whoa, that was such a great day. And I
Hmm.
know everybody else probably felt it too. So I'm just like, all right, well, turn on FL Studio. You know what I'm saying?
Time to go to work.
It's exactly like, and it's probably like, I don't know, probably like, you probably get home like from like 8 to 10. So like everybody's sleeping, the world has calmed down. So I don't have to worry about any distractions. So I'm just like, time to get it in, man. So
I
a
love it.
lot
I
of
love it.
those weddings, a lot of the songs that you hear, especially on my Instagram and stuff like that, came right after a wedding.
Okay. Man, I love it. I love it. Damn. I'm like, yo, I'm at a loss of words right now. I ain't
Yeah,
gonna
that's
lie
the
to you.
juice, man.
The
That's
f-
the juice.
it
That's the
is.
gym right there. I'm like, all
Yeah.
right, bet.
Yeah.
Like, oh. I see. I get paid twice. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Realistically, like I get
Hmm.
paid in energy, and I get paid monetarily. Like, you know what I mean? Obviously, people are paying me for my services, but
Hmm.
the energy that I get is priceless for sure.
Yeah. That's real. And I was just thinking as you was speaking, I was thinking like, man, I'd rather go to a wedding than a club.
You feel me?
Cause
You
so I'm
feel me?
like the wedding, it's gonna be cool from start to finish.
Yeah,
The
yeah,
club is like it's a toss up. That's why I'm like
yeah.
these days I'd rather go to the wedding. I might have to be a wedding crasher.
You feel me? Hey, and it's like, hey, like there's no drama, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
And if it is drama, it's kind of minimal. It's more so like inconveniences. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Like so, but we can for me for sure, I'm like, well, I can solve that. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Hmm.
That's not even the problem for me. So I'm like, all right, well, here's the solution for that. Now let's get back to the party. You know what I
Straight
mean?
up.
Let's get back to the party. And usually at weddings, it's an open bar. Obviously everybody's in a suit, everybody's in a great dress, everybody's reminiscing, like, you know what I'm saying? Everybody is kind of there's something bigger than themselves at the
Hmm.
wedding. And as far as like a club, they kind of you probably just going for yourself to party. But
Yeah.
like you still going to party at a wedding, but you know it's not for you, it's for somebody else. You're just trying to bring
Hmm.
some extra joy to the day and enjoy somebody else's day and just be like a small piece of the puzzle.
Hmm.
So, I just definitely try to use that and like build upon that every time I do an event or a wedding or something like that.
I respect that. But 70 plus weddings. That is like I was just like I said, I only been to three, but 70, that is a significant number right there.
Yeah,
Not just in value, but the emotional weight. You are showing up when on some people's most important days of their lives
facts.
over and over and over again, 70 times. That's the number I'm stuck on. Like 70, and
Yeah,
it's going to be more this time. It may be this time next year, it may be
yeah.
140 or maybe 160. It's like it's gonna keep growing. So what did the first few weddings teach you that no course or YouTube video could have?
Pressure, man. Like pressure. Pressure. When something goes wrong, because things are going to go wrong. Like, you feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Like, ride might fall, like the lighting might, saying, mess up, camera might malfunction, getting the specific shot that's on the shot list, knowing when to get a shot. If you have other shooters with you, if you have a videographer with you, not getting in their shot,
Mhm.
them not getting in your shot, kind of like cross-functional teams in a sense. Like, hey, there's so many different vendors there. There's a food vendor, there might be a photo booth vendor, there might be a videographer, there might be a DJ, making sure that you are respecting everybody else's business while you're doing
Mhm.
your own, you know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
like YouTube can't teach you pressure. Like, YouTube can't teach you timing. Like, YouTube can't teach you if the lighting is bad, how to, like, you
Mhm.
know what I mean, how to pretty much get back together on the fly. Like, sometimes you
Yeah.
gotta, like, have a quick thinking, because it's like they're only gonna walk down the aisle once, right?
Yeah.
Like,
That's
they're
true.
only going to get ready once. Like,
Yeah.
they're only gonna have a mother and father dance once. They're only gonna have a groom and mother dance once. Like, you know what I mean? So there's these moments are
Mhm.
literally fleeting right before your eyes.
Man.
So you gotta be present. But that's why I tell people, if they want to start in photography, start as a second shooter. You know what
No,
I'm
that's
saying?
smart. That's good advice.
That way you don't have to necessarily you're just the auxiliary piece. They're gonna want your vision, but it's like it's not necessarily up to you in the beginning to get the most important shots. Like, they want you
God.
to get the candidates, they want you to get people, what I'm saying, living life in the day. So I
Mhm.
would definitely recommend, hey, being a second shooter, and like, if you can't find nobody to second shoot, ask the second shoot for free. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, if you really want it. Now, a lot of people
Mhm.
ain't gonna like that, but like
Mm-mm.
sometimes you gotta like put your foot in the door and just get the portfolio so people know that you're trustworthy. Because
Yeah.
trust is bigger than anything. Because if people do not trust you, they will not hire you at all.
At all, bro. I leave you hanging. And they be like, yo, I'm good. I don't trust you.
Yeah,
I can't
facts,
trust your work. So I'm
facts.
solid on that. So I already know, man. But my question is, I guess it's a two-part question, because as I'm thinking, I'm like, first part of the question is, what inspired you to do photography for wedding photography? And then what do you remember about your first wedding that you shot? Like, what mistakes did you make, and what did you learn from that first experience?
So like, I remember like working, I had a lot of coworkers that would ask me to do their pictures. Cause I've always pretty much done photography. I've probably had a camera since I was like 15,
Hmm.
but like taking it seriously and like wanting that type of pressure is different. I actually had a friend that I used to work with, and she asked me to do her wedding. And I'm just
Oh,
like, but she was like, I don't want anybody else to do it but you. Like,
damn.
on some
Why'd you
like,
put why'd you put
you
that
feel
pressure on
me?
you?
Like the pressure, like it was like, oh, she was like, nah, I'm not going to ask anybody else but you, straight up. Like, and at the time I was living in Washington and she was in California. And
Okay.
she was like, whatever price that you need, like just let me know and I'm gonna pay it. But I don't want anybody else to. And this, I had no like photography, not wedding photography experience at that
Yeah.
point. You know what I mean? But she just knew my character and she trusted me because, she knew I've always taken pictures and I've always done certain things. She was like, look, I want you to do my wedding. Like, straight up, like,
Yeah.
it ain't like she wasn't taking no for an answer, pretty much.
Damn.
You know what I mean? And looking back on it, I really appreciated it because it was definitely a jump start into my career. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
That trust, because it was
Yeah.
nothing but trust. Because she,
Yeah.
I could have did a terrible job, like, you know what I mean. But obviously, I took it seriously. You know what I mean.
Hmm.
But so I would say the mistakes is like, I guess, certain timing. You know what I mean? It's always timing, because at that point I didn't know how the day is going to go. Like, you know what I
Yeah.
mean? I'm just like, it's my first wedding. I'm gonna just try to get the best pictures. But I say where I was strong at is like preparation. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying? So I'm just like, all right, I may not know what I'm doing per se, but I know how to take pictures. And then
Yeah.
I know how to get people to smile. I know how to pose. I know how to like, you know what I'm saying? I know how to like guide people.
Mhm.
So I just leaned on my strengths at first. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? So I actually picked a park out in Colton, California, and I was like, you know, I just kind of walked around, scouted it before the family got there, and I let them know, like, all right, this is the spot. I picked like a nice tree where I could frame it right. I made sure everybody was in the shade because I'm like,
Mhm.
all right, at least everybody gonna be cool because it's height of summertime in California.
Yeah.
So I'm like, it get hot. I'm like, I'm gonna pick a shady spot. You know what I'm saying? That got decent lighting. That way ain't nobody gonna be cranky that they sweating in the sun. At least that. Like you feel what I'm saying? But I
Yeah.
think that the how I care for people makes it a lot easier for me to take pictures because it's like I'm not even thinking about how great the pictures are going to be. I'm thinking about how comfortable people are going to be. You know what I mean? Let me
Mm.
make sure they're comfortable and they're going to enjoy the time with me as opposed to me getting like the most crazy artistic shots because sometimes
Yeah.
these brides don't be wanting to do none of that. Like, you know what I mean? They want to get take the picture, get out their dress and go chill, whatever the case may be. So I just knew like, all right, like, and then I kind of prepared it to where like, let's go a little bit earlier. That way, if anything messes up, then I got time to fix it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Camera
That's smart.
faulty, memory card goes out, batteries, whatever the case may be. I'm like, look, I'm gonna just let's do it right now. That way, all right, I got time to fix it. And then, like, even then, I didn't have the best equipment. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
I think I was shooting with like a Canon Rebel and like a 50
Oh,
mil.
yeah.
You know what I mean? So it's just
Yeah.
like, you know, hey, I was like, all right, I'm gonna do it. Like, you know what I mean? I'm gonna
Mhm.
just have confidence in myself that I can get the best shot and like, you know, I'm gonna work with my equipment the best way possible. So, I mean, I think what I could have probably done better at is is having like a better shot list at that time
Mm.
and like having a better sense of guidance as to when and where things were going to happen. That way I could have prepared more. But overall, they loved the pictures, the family loved the
Mhm.
pictures. So I mean, that's a win for me. If they
Yeah.
were happy with my performance, they're happy with the pictures, they're happy with, you know, how I did things, and I think that's more important than, you know what I'm saying, where I think I coulda got better at, you know what I mean? Because obviously I got better over time, but
Yeah.
some things you can only learn from experience.
Mhm. That's what it comes down to. Like you said, you're empathetic. So you was like, "Hey, I care about people. I wanna make them comfortable in pictures." So, some people aren't, I wanna say, photogenic. So they be like, oh,
Right.
looking all different angles and stuff like
Yeah,
that. So you like, hey, I've been preparing this for this opportunity my whole life. I wasn't
yeah,
ready, but hey, I knew what I need to do. I knew poses. I knew how to do this. I knew lighting. I had my camera. So I've been doing this, but this is a new area for me, and I
yeah,
still learned
facts.
on the fly. So that's the thing too. And it's like, man, I would have been like, yo, a wedding by myself. First one.
Yeah,
Oh
right,
my
right,
man.
right.
Oh, so okay, my follow-up question with that, what led you to doing like a second? What was that second wedding? How would you get involved in that?
I say like I actually was just like doing truck driving at the time, and
Mhm,
I was kind of in a lull between my job, so I just like somebody needed a second shooter,
mhm.
so I'm just like, all right, it was for video, but I'm like, and it was out in Idaho, so I was just
Ooh,
like, yeah, sure, like I'll help you out, like you know, so I'm good with a camera, and I went out there, and I got paid a decent amount of bread for like 4 hours, and I'm like, man, this was a nice little check. You know what I mean?
Yo.
Like, you feel me? And I'm like, you know, I'm like, all right, that was cool. And the vibe was cool. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? And it's just like I was out in a beautiful area and I was kind of just like present. You feel what I'm saying?
Mhm.
All right, like I'm gonna just get this video. And I'm like, you know, like I've shot music videos and I've shot different videos. It was just another aspect. And I felt like um after the wedding was said and done, obviously you get fed at a wedding, like, you know what I'm saying? You get certain gifts, you get the keepsakes, you get, you know, certain perks.
Yeah, yeah.
And then after the wedding, like seeing the finished product of the edited video, a lot of my shots were in the video, like in the main
Oh,
video as a
there,
second shooter.
yeah.
So
There we
I,
go.
I was like, I'm him. Like, okay, like, okay, I do know what I'm doing then. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying? Because it's like the person that I was with, they were pretty, established
Mhm.
as far as a videographer, and they had a lot of shots and stuff like that. And I'm like, oh, okay, so I got the right shots.
Yeah.
I was there at the opportune time, so it just kind of like,
Mhm.
okay, it built my confidence, right? I'm just like,
Yeah.
all right, I may know what I'm doing. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I may or may not like have a gifts, but
Yeah, brother.
it's still like, all right, we'll keep going. I'm not gonna quit my day job. You feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'm gonna keep it moving. But I was doing truck driving for a few years during COVID. So like 2020,
Oh.
from like 2022 ish,
Mhm.
I was locked in because obviously the world was shut down and there wasn't a lot of weddings going on anyway. So
Yeah.
it's just like, but at that wedding, I talked to, so there was a videographer staff and then there was a photography staff. And I
Interesting.
talked to the photography staff and I'm like, man, how many weddings do you do? And they were like, shoot, I've done like 20 this year. And I'm like, well, I'm like, dang, that's a
Yeah,
lot.
20?
Like,
Yeah.
thinking back, I'm like, dang, that's a lot of weddings. Like, people do
Mhm.
that. And it was like, yeah, people, pay people to take their pictures. And I'm like,
Mhm.
in my mind, I'm like, dang, like, okay, noted. Like, you know what I'm saying? And this was like a few years, like I said, it was during COVID. So it was a few years before I start taking my own photography business
Yeah.
seriously. But in 2021, that's when I got my LLC and I actually formally started my business. But it wasn't until 2023 to where I got all of my bookings. Like, I would
Okay.
do like business collaborations. I do like portraits and like I do like I know one of my favorite shoots before I started doing weddings is I did a dental office and they were like, look, we just need you to come before we start the day, like this, before they start the business day,
Mhm.
and take pictures. And it was like when I
Okay.
say it was like 30 minutes of work. You feel what I'm saying? They paid me like $400, and they were like, "Look,
That's
we just need you to
cake.
walk in. We're
Yeah.
gonna have everything set up." So they set up their own. They set up the lights. They set up the backdrop. Everybody was kind of already ready. You know what I mean? And they were just like, "Look, we just need you to come take portraits of everybody." And so I took a single picture of everybody, all the staff, and I took group pictures of the staff. I was very communicative. Very chill, very cool. Make sure everybody was good. Um, and then I emailed the product manager, the production manager, all of the work,
Yeah.
and they gave me a great review and they
Yeah,
paid
love it.
me quickly. And I'm just like, oh, is this how this works? Like, I'm like, is this how this works? Like,
Oh,
so that's all I had
man.
to do. And they were like, yeah, you did a great job. And I'm like, all right, bet. I'm like, all right, noted. I'm like,
Yo.
all right, bet. All right, bet. I felt like I was robbing people. Like, you feel what I'm saying? I'm like, oh,
Yeah.
y'all like this. You know what I mean?
No,
But
I feel you though.
it's just like, oh, this is what it is. This is like, all right, bet. But I'm like, all right, but not knowing that, like, I'm getting reps. You feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying? I'm putting in work. I'm building a portfolio. Like, saying
Yeah.
biblically, like God was establishing the work of my hands. And I didn't even know it like that. You know what I mean? I'm just like, I'm out here just trying to do my thing, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
Whatever. I do pictures, but I'm still working. And then I got this job at Meta AR/VR labs in some of their clean rooms. I was the
Mhm.
bulk chemical tech. So basically I would make sure they were getting certain chemicals to their clean rooms. That way they can make their microchips. And
Okay.
I was there. I had a year contract, and this is coming off doing chemical delivery work because I was a hazmat. I had hazmat
Mm.
tanker CDL, so I was doing that work,
You was
and
doing
I was just
everything.
like, look. I was like, look, I was just tired of being in the truck though. Like, you know what I mean? It
Yeah,
was
yeah.
just all day, every day. I wanted to see the family, I wanted to be home more. And like the schedule that I had was like 3 days a week. I worked 3 days a week, 12 hours, and I worked like 6 hours the fourth day. So I was like, it was a
Oh yeah,
4 day
that's
work
easy.
week. And
Yeah.
I'm like, oh yeah. So look, and then the best thing about that job at Meta they fed me, right? Like, this was
You
the
love
deal
it.
breaker.
Everywhere you go, they feed you.
You know, hey, if you feed me, you feel me? You can have my time. All right. Like,
Yeah,
you know
I
what I mean?
got you.
This is the best. Like, so look, they had breakfast, they had lunch, and if you stayed late, they had dinner. You know what I mean? And it's like chefs. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? People actually cooking. You had different meals like avocados, fruits, just
man.
beautiful, beautiful. It was a beautiful workplace. They had micro kitchens like drinks and orange juice and cereal and just like anything you can think of. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? It's just like, and then I was working in cross functional teams, like being in truck driving, you kind of solo, like, you know what I mean? So it kind of
Mhm.
made me a little antisocial. I ain't gonna lie.
Yeah, I get you.
So I kind of needed this job being around people, communicating with people in business and corporate America, just
Mhm.
so I can get my speech back, like my camaraderie. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I think it helped me, and the job wasn't too like stressful. It wasn't like I had to work, like I had to hustle and bustle all the time. So it was like a
Mhm.
slower pace to where like I could think, and like I had time in between, whatever I was doing during my jobs, my checks and stuff like that, to kind of focus on getting myself mentally healthy again. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that makes
Because
sense.
with the solo work, it's just like you can kind of fall into like a kind of like a narcissistic, like it's all about me. I don't just cranky.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And
Mhm.
especially like being on the road, going in and out of traffic, it makes you a little cranky. Seeing how
Yeah.
people drive and things like that. So it gave me a chance to kind of get back to me mentally and spiritually, and like kind of
Mhm.
I was able to walk, like the food I was getting was great. So it was like I was eating cleaner, just like
Yeah.
living a cleaner, balanced life.
Yeah,
So
that makes
like,
sense.
it helped. And then it also allowed me to actually make a business plan.
Mhm. It gave you that time to
And
sit down and just do what you need to do.
exactly, exactly. And I'm in the tech world at this point. So like
Yeah.
ChatGPT big, Meta is big, all the Instagram and stuff, Canva. It gave me a chance to kind of learn these different tools. That way I can apply them later on.
Man, I love it. I love it. Damn.
Yeah.
It took us a trip down memory lane.
Right,
I'm like,
right,
yo, that's good
right,
though. No,
right.
that's good though. Like you said, you were just caged up and doing a trucking all day. So you was eating, it was an unhealthy life. It's like you was getting paid and everything, but internally you felt like it was unhealthy. It was unhealthy,
Yeah, man.
unhealthy with your spirit. So when you got with Meta, you feel like, oh man, I can see the light again to where everything's clear as day. I can eat right. I can spend more time with my family. I can create, work on my creative side because I wasn't being creative when I was truck driving because it was taking a
True.
lot of emotional and physical toll on me. So now I'm back doing this, and it really was like a gate. You getting a meta was like a gateway to doing wedding photography and doing
Absolutely.
things like that. So I totally get it.
Facts. Facts, man.
But you said something on your LinkedIn profile that stuck with me. You said photographing people, photographing people is 95% customer service and 5% camera skill.
Yeah.
Break that down for me because I think a lot of creatives hear that and immediately push back on it.
So look, like at some point, like say if you've been doing photography for a long time, like in my
Hmm.
case, I've been doing it, half of my life, most of my adult life, it becomes like an extension of your hand. You feel what I'm saying, right? Like it's just something that I do. You're always going to
Hmm.
take good pictures. It's just going to be a matter of perspective. Like you're just
Yeah.
sharing your perspective with your clients and customers. Customer service is the most important thing. Making sure your customers are satisfied, making sure your clients are satisfied, making sure they're not stressed out on their day, making sure that they're happy. They leave their wedding happy is the most
Hmm.
important thing, right? Because
Facts.
you can get some terrible photos. You feel what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You can take like average photos. But if they're like, bro, you made my day
Hmm.
better, then that's going to stick with them, and they're going to see the pictures like I was so happy in that picture. I was
Yeah.
so happy. Like, you know what I mean? This was a beautiful day. They're going to associate the pictures and the customer service
Hmm.
with how you made them feel. Like, the
Yeah.
quote, like, people never forget how you made them feel. You feel what
Hmm.
I'm saying? You could like do whatever, but
Yeah.
if you made people feel great, or if you made people feel bad, like, you know what I mean?
Hmm.
They're going to
They're always
remember
gonna
that.
remember it.
You
Yeah,
feel me? Like,
that's
okay,
true.
that person made me feel like that. And I think that's where my success comes. That's where my people rebook me so much, or people,
Hmm.
the word of mouth comes in. It's just like, hey, he's a great person. Like, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying? He will take care of you. the customer service is there. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
He will treat you like, you know, spiritually, respectfully, like he'll hold you up to good standards. And that's where my
Yeah.
professionalism comes from. That's why I say it's 5% scammer skills, because it's like 95% is just like making people happy. And it's not just making the bride and groom happy either. It's
Mhm.
making sure the bridal party is taken care of. It's making sure the grandma is taken care of. It's making sure grandpa is taken care of. It's making sure, you know, the son is in, they, everybody gets their pictures and everybody gets their
Yeah.
time. So that's why I think I shine, is me being able to communicate with the whole party and, you know, crack a couple jokes here and there, get people to smile, get people to laugh. Like everybody reports back to the bride and groom at the end of the day.
Mm. Mhm.
So if you're having good contacts and good connections with everybody in the party, the bride and the groom is going to know. You feel what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
Off
Like
rip.
they're going to be like, "Hey, like your photographer was this, like your photographer was
Mhm.
that."
They brag about you.
Exactly, like, "Hey, he's
Yeah, so
funny." Like, you know, "Oh, he's cool." Or like, "Hey," you know what I'm saying, whatever the case may be, you know, obviously I've worked with different photographers that get different feedback. So I'm like, if as long as you're making people happy, say like this, right? Like, you know, your bride and your groom, they're in their own world. Like, you know what I
yeah.
mean? They're just trying to get married. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
And then like on top of that, they have so many people trying to pull them in different directions. If somebody comes up and they're like, "Man, your groom is taking care of everybody," and not the groom, but your photographer is taking care of everybody,
Mhm.
your DJ is taking care of everybody, your videographer is taking care of everybody. That's where the customer service stands out,
Yeah.
right? Like, so like it don't even matter if you taking great pictures, like, you know what I mean?
Mhm.
But you want to take great pictures, don't get me wrong.
At the end of the day, yeah,
You
for sure.
want to be artistic in your field and in your level of expertise, but it's like people will remember how you made them feel at the end of the day. You know what I mean?
Exactly. That's
Period.
the main thing.
And then think about
That's
it
true.
like this, reviews are big these days, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? Getting a review, like, people might not even have seen your pictures yet, but they will leave you a review. Like,
Mhm.
he did this right. Like, you know what I'm saying? He was present, he was this, he was that, he wasn't invasive, like, you know what I mean? So a lot of my reviews come from people just about how they remember me as
Yeah.
far as making them feel, and I like to get visual reviews. So say like this, like everybody has a great day, the bride and groom are being happy. I will take my phone out and get a vibe check. What I call a vibe check is like I'll turn the camera on like I'm getting a selfie, but it'd be a video and they're like, "Hey, you did a great job." I'm like, "Can you tell my future customers how I did today?" And I
Love it,
want to
love it.
capture that energy
Yeah.
for my future clients, for people that think about booking me, for people that need inspiration. Like, hey, this is how your bride and groom is supposed to feel after their
Mhm.
wedding. You know what I mean? Like,
That's
hey, he
true.
did a great job. You should hire him.
Yeah, I love that. That's smart. That vibe check, that vibe check
Yeah.
is real. Because nowadays, because you know, nowadays everybody's on social media. They want
Hmm.
to see. It's like, yeah, the reviews. You can go on, read the reviews, but they want to see how the people felt in that moment. You can read a review like, I got to experience it for myself.
That's real.
But if you have that visual experience, that vibe check, they're saying on YouTube, Facebook, any type of social media platform, they're like, wow, he really did his job, and the whole bridal party, the groomsmen, everybody was happy at the wedding. And it's not
Facts.
just one time; it's repetitive. To where you're seeing like, damn, he did it. All 70 weddings are right there, and they give him great
Hmm.
feedback. Hasn't had one bad feedback, so it's like, okay, let's see, let's use this guy. So that makes sense.
Yeah.
But I
It's
get that.
real.
But overall, weddings put you in some of the most emotionally charged environments possible.
Facts.
Family tension, logistical chaos, high stakes, people out there most vulnerable and their most joyful simultaneously. What has the 70 plus weddings taught you about people and about relationships?
I say that you got to be sensitive to what people are going through in their lives. Like, you know what I mean? Because there's the wedding and then there's the time after and then there's also things beforehand, you know what I mean, like leading up to the wedding. So like
Hmm.
a lot of being a photographer professionally is like the the pre-wedding stuff, like getting a shot list from them, like
Yeah.
knowing what their strengths are, what their weaknesses are, knowing which family members don't like each other. If mom and dad are divorced and they don't want to stand next to each other, if the
Mm,
sister has certain beliefs and certain religious beliefs, like, hey, she might not. she might not respond well to this. She might not
Yeah.
respond well to that. So, and think about this, like you're merging when you're getting people are getting married, they're merging two different cultures together. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? There's a lot of interracial relationships, same-sex relationships, black, white, whatever. Like,
Hmm.
so there's two different clans coming together and joining as one.
Yeah.
So you have to be in tune to like, hey, this culture believes in that. This culture believes in this. Like, you know what I mean? We're trying to find a balance to where
Yeah.
everybody
Between the
can
two.
coexist and coagulate in the same setting, you know what I'm saying, and have a great time. So I think knowing what people are going through and knowing what people like, actually listening and like taking some type of notes, that
Hmm.
way you know kind of what to expect because you're not gonna you're not gonna know everything. You're a human too,
Yeah.
but like getting asking certain questions and being prepared, in my opinion, is what I learned a lot about the 70 weddings. This is like, hey, there's two different types of people going to be at the wedding, and we're all going to try to work together to get people
Hmm.
married, like at the end of the day.
Damn, I love that, man. I guess my follow-up question to that, has what you witnessed in that work changed how you approach your own relationships with your personal relationships as well as with your family?
Absolutely, for sure. You know what I mean? I'm in an interracial relationship as well. So seeing how nobody's perfect, you know what I'm
Mhm.
saying? There's no perfect relationship. Every relationship has their quirks, every relationship has their ups and downs. Everybody is like, some people are already married when they have their ceremony. Like there's some
Yeah.
people that are together for like 15 years and just
Damn,
decided to get married. Like there's
that's
some people
true.
that are like just like I met you 6 months ago on the internet and I love you and it's real and they get married. Like,
Yeah.
there there's no like and there's no judging for me because
Mhm.
like everybody love story is different.
Exactly.
So it's like you just gotta learn like, hey, everybody's on a different journey. You feel what I'm
Mhm.
saying? Everybody love story is different. You just gotta kind of respect where everybody is coming from and just know like, hey, there's certain pieces of love and there's certain pieces of advice that you give and get. Like I like to talk to a lot of the older guests at the party,
Smart.
especially I'll be like, if you've lived over 60, 70, 80 years old and you've been
You
married for
got
30,
game.
you know what I
Yeah.
mean, right? Like so like there's always a dance at the wedding, right?
Mhm.
Where it's like if you've been married 5 years, step out. If you've been married 30 years, if you've been married 50 years, and then I'm always like, hey, what is the secret to a long
Exactly.
lasting marriage? Because I'm like,
Yeah.
they have the blueprint. You know what I'm saying?
Mhm.
If you've been married for 30, 40, 50 years, decades, like some people don't even live that long. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's
So it's
true.
just like your marriage has lasted the test of time. I'll always try to make it a point when I have time and pockets in a wedding to like, hey, so what is the secret? You know what I mean? And everybody says different things, but it's like I try
Mhm.
to take bits and pieces from all of those relationships and like kind of add it slowly to my own.
I respect that. So I like how you do that because I try to do that as well. Like, what is the secret to a long lasting relationship when I'm on the phone with clients? So, what, like, out of all that you heard, the advice when it comes to the secret sauce to weddings or relationships, a long term relationship, long term wedding, marriage, which one resonated with you the most?
I think the most common and the most important is having communication, like you mean open
Yeah.
communication and like really speaking, but not even like actually speaking your mind, you know what I mean? Because
Hmm.
people can't you change over a course of your life, you change over the course of your relationship,
Yeah.
you change over the course of the marriage. So it's like you're always evolving, and the person you marry might not be the person that you're with in 5 years, 10 years, because you might have
Hmm.
struggles, you might have babies, you might change jobs, you might change like places that you live. So it's always, in my opinion, they're like just the communication is the most important, letting your partner know what you like now. Like if you've evolved as a person, your likes and dislikes might not be
Yeah,
the
man.
same. You feel what I'm saying? So that constantly adapting to your partner, and it's not easy. You feel what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Like, nothing's gonna be easy, but like I'm like, look, you gotta find someone you might want to argue with for the rest of your life. Cause Like, you gotta find someone you go, all right, like, if I'm gonna argue with somebody, I'm gonna argue with you.
With
Like, you
this
know what I
person,
mean? So
yeah, for
just
the
like,
rest of
but
life.
the communication is key, in my opinion. That's
Yeah,
what I hear a lot.
that's facts. Communicate, ladies and gentlemen. With that being said, let me
Yeah.
communicate with y'all. This is the end of part one. There's gonna be two parts to this episode, but this is the end of part one. We've been on it for 50 minutes now. I got to give y'all a break and give y'all something to look forward to next week. So with that being said, man, like the show, subscribe. Alex, we still gonna do part two.
Bet,
Giving the people a little
yeah.
break, a breather room. Got to give them something to look forward to next week.
Bet.
But hey, man, we appreciate y'all. Like, subscribe. Love y'all.